Now, right around that time, Dr. Benjamin Bolmel took over and became the center of power. And what Bolmel did, he took President Kiir as a cash cow and took advantage of a situation of an elder who need support and rest and took all the power. First, he removed General James Wani. He appointed himself, who is Dr. Benjamin Bolmel. That's one. Two, he appointed himself as the first deputy chairman of the SPLM. Then Dr. Benjamin Bolmel managed to remove General Akolkor, arrested him, eliminated him. And then he arrested Dr. Riek Machar and the senior members of the SPLM, SPLA-IO. Not only that, he have dismissed so many people within the SPLM and upon his own. That was a sign that Dr. Benjamin Bolmel was fully in charge. That's the one we were asking.
Hello, everyone who joined us. Thank you for tuning in. Today, I'm joined by Honorable Lual Dao. Lual Dao, as you well know, he's the Secretary General of the United People's Alliance. So today, we'll be speaking on a number of issues. The first one will be speaking about what happened in Addis when the president was recently at the African Union and what that means. I will also be speaking about the issue of power in J1. What is really happening? Who is in charge? What is the center of power? And then we'll also speak about the possible issues of transition. The president looks frail. So is there a plan in place? If there's no plan in place, then how can we deal with this when the president is really very frail? And I don't think he's someone who can continue to lead the country. And then we'll also speak about the recent mass of arrests. Who is arresting people? Why are people being arrested? We don't know what is happening. So I want to welcome Honorable Lual Dao to Kurthi TV. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Kurthi. I am happy to be here.
Okay. So I want to begin by asking you to speak to us about this issue of power. Who is really in charge in J1? Who is in charge, really? What is the center of power?
This is a very good question, and I am happy that you are asking who is in charge of J1 and the country. Before I answer this question, let me go back briefly about the history of the SPLM, SPLA. Dr. John Garang was the leader of the SPLM, SPLA. It was very clear that John Garang is fully in charge of the movement. Unfortunately, in 2005, we lost him when he died in a helicopter crash. General Salva Kiir Mayardit took over and became the chairman of the SPLM, SPLA, president of South Sudan, and the first vice president of Sudan. So now, the politics of the SPLM, President Kiir has this style of leading a group leadership. He does not lead alone, but have always been a center of power, a person that is known, if you go to X, he will solve your problem, he will address the issues. After he took over, now the first person that became a center of power was Uncle Bona Malwal, Dr. Justin Yach, and also there was senior officers that were also visible there. There's those of General Paul Malone. They were part and parcel of center of power. That was in 2005. That continued, and then somehow the SPLM leaders managed to get their leader back to the SPLM, and now President Kiir again continued to work now with the new center of power, which was by then, they say right around 2007 to 2008, around there. The SPLM leaders, the Secretary General of the party, General Khan Hamom, General Kwal Manyang, General Daniel Awet, those of General James Wani, took over and became the center of power within the party. And again, those of General Malone, the senior officers continued to be part and parcel of the center. That continued until right around 2013. President Kiir fell up with his colleagues in the SPLM, the senior members, and the new center of power in 2013 became General Paul Malone, and later on joined by General Akolkor, National Security, and also the Jain Council of Elders. That was around 2010 crisis. They continued, and along with those politicians that were with them around that time were General Elena Yen and Ambassador Traring. Those people in Juba, you know them, they were the center of power. if you were in Juba by that time.
So if I can interrupt shortly, how do we know that these people are actually the center of power? What are the indicators that show that these are actually the people who help make decisions in J1?
The indication is that, first of all, you will see everyone is looking for them in Juba. And for example, in around 2013, if you meet General Malone, if you want to act as president, he will help you get that. Just like that. If he wants appointment, he can help you get that. If you want whatever that in the government. So that's how you know they are in power. And the same thing, there was a time when if you get General Kolkor, he will give you the same thing. He will get his job if you want to be in the government. He will help you see the president in a second. That's the sign. So whatever you tell them or whatever they are doing or their accessibility to the president and the power is obvious and everyone can see that. It is very, very clear in Juba what I'm saying here. It may be far, it may be difficult for someone far away, but when you are in Juba, you will see the number of people who are looking for the person that is in center of power. The amount of people who are visiting his office, the amount of people who are going to his house, the amount of people who are following him everywhere is obvious. So that was the 2013. It was mainly General Alain Ayen plus Ambassador Tlaring in one side as politician. There were General Paul Malone, General Kolkor that have always been there as a part of center of power. And then there was also Jane Council of Elders. Right around 2007, I forgot to add one person. It was SPLM leaders. Yes, General Malone was there, but also General Majang Agot, who was actually the head of national, the second man in the national security was also there. It was influential. And then that continued. At some point, the situation changed. Now the center of power shift. It became very much General Kolkor became the center of power. You're talking about after the removal of General Paul Malone from his position, General Akol became the center of power in Juba for some times. He continued until right around 2018. Now there was a new center of power. It was Honorable Tutkal. You know what he did with the peace agreement and all that. In Juba, everything is about Tutkal. But General Akol continued to be somewhere within that circle. And of course, don't forget, all these people are working with President Kiir. President Kiir continued to be there with this group. Then, after Honorable Tutkal, Dr. Benjamin Bolmel took over and became the center. And when Dr. Benjamin Bolmel came and took over, I met Dr. Benjamin Bolmel and President Kiir before he was appointed, before Dr. Benjamin Bolmel was appointed in Nairobi, when the Tumaini initiative was launched. That time, it is the time we need to be very careful because it will answer a lot of the questions. Dr. Olgarang, what I saw, President Kiir is a veteran politician who have done so much for South Sudan. Probably around like middle school, he dropped out, joined the Anyanya. He joined the war of Anyanya 1 entirely, fought it. Again, came back in 1983 with those of John Garang. They formed the SPLM, SPLA. And General Salva Kiir was not someone who is known to stay in towns. He was always with the officers in the country. That long commitment and long journey to peace, to freedom. General Salva Kiir, what I saw in him was a veteran who is tired, who is weak, who needs medical attention. I saw that in Nairobi. And after that, I met him 2 times. And the situation continued to be worse every time I met him. Now, right around that time, Dr. Benjamin Bolmel took over and became the center of power. And what Bolmel did, he took President Kiir as a cash cow and took advantage of a situation of an elder who need support and rest and took all the power. First, he removed General James Wani. He appointed himself, who is Dr. Benjamin Bolmel. That's one. 2, he appointed himself as the first deputy chairman of the SPLM. Then Dr. Benjamin Bolmel managed to remove General Kolkor, arrested him, eliminated him. And then he arrested Dr. Riek Machar and the senior members of the SPLM, SPLA-IO. Not only that, he had dismissed so many people within the SPLM and appointed his own group. That was a sign that Dr. Benjamin Bolmel was fully in charge. That's the one we were asking him.
Okay. So I have another question before you continue. if all these people are the center of power around the president and they make decisions and we see how they get dismissed. So if they are this powerful, and that's something that I've discussed with Wolich, and Wolich raised the same question. If these people are really the center of power, how come they just get dismissed like that if they are that powerful? So this is something that I struggle to understand. So how is that they get dismissed like that if they are the center?
First, I want to divide your question into two parts. The period from 2005 up to when Dr. Benjamin Bolmel took all those people who were center of powers that were either removed by president. The only reason they are getting removed, you know why? It is when president accused them that people are tampering with his power. Because remember, president all along is also a center of power. You know, President Kiir is someone who lead in a very strange way. Ambassador Draring said that President Kiir, for us in the SPLM, it is like a cash cow. What you do, you raid him, you take him, you milk the cow, you enjoy the milk until someone else come and raid him from you. That used to happen by President Kiir himself allowing himself to be raided. He would be okay that, you know, I'm okay now for Queer to raid me. Only to allow you and him to do whatever you guys want to do for the SPLM, for the country, whatever. But the minute he find out that, or he assume, or he has his own conclusion that Queer now become a threat to his power, you are out. That's what has been happening from 2005 up to when Dr. Benjamin Bolmel was appointed. He was the one that making the final shots. And that's what Oleg was saying. That's why you will see someone very powerful, but all of a sudden he's gone. He was the one who is giving that person powers to do whatever he wants to do that he was happy with, until that person is accused of tampering with his power. And it has always been a power struggle. Let me be frank with you. Everything that has been affecting South Sudan right from beginning has always been power struggle. So all these people have been accused of issues to do with power struggle.
Can we
now, yes,
can
go
we
ahead.
say then, because if that's the case, can we say that these people are just pawns? They don't have really power. Because if the president can dismiss them that way, that means the president is the center of power. There's no any other center of power. That the president is the center of power. Everyone else is just used as a tool. Because if he can dismiss them that way or allows them to do that, for example, the case of Dr. Benjamin Bolmel, he was allowed to make some decisions. The president knew he was making those decisions. He saw them, but he kept quiet, knowing that he's just doing his bidding and knowing when he will remove them. Can we say that these people actually don't have any power? The president is just using them as pawns, as tools to advance his own agenda. And as Dr. Jogmadut said, he only looks for the fall guy, that at the end, if things go wrong, then they say, okay, that is the guy who made the decision, not me. So can we say these people actually have no power? The president is the center.
Like I said, I'm dividing them into two parts.
Okay.
There's the people who assume to be the center of power from 2005 up to the appointment of Bolmel. Bolmel is a different story. I'll come to it. But here is what was happening. You are right in a way that it is president that has the absolute power. There is a difference between having an absolute power and having some power. These people, if you see them, they have powers. They have political powers to make decisions. These are very, very powerful individuals that President Kiir used to allow them to make decisions to do with appointment, to do with issue, even to do with war and peace in the country. These are major issues to do with reforms, to do with what? All these issues, these people were involved on them. So these are not just people who are sitting there with president and just laughing and doing nothing. No, they have some sort of power. And president does not agree, does not have any problem working with them at that capacity. Every single time he disagree with one of these people who are center of power, always it was an accusation in one thing. Someone somewhere will tell President Kiir that X is so much interested in your power, he will grab your power. You need to deal with him. Then president deal with him because of course president have the absolute power. So that's what the difference is. President Kiir have always been the center up to that point. Now, Ambassador was saying that President Kiir is like a cash cow. You take him, he allow himself. He pretend like he doesn't know what you are doing. He allow you to do all that. And Jogmadut also was right, so that you can also be used as a scapegoat in case things happen. You will be blamed. All that were part of the bigger picture. But one thing that has always been correct, he does not lead alone. He lead with people. So what did he do? He was allowing himself. Now, when Dr. Bolmel took over, Because of age, because President Kiir is tired, because of sickness, because of all these things that we see, President Kiir was grabbed by Dr. Benjamin Bolmel and did all the things that I have mentioned that Bolmel did. At that particular time, President Kiir is no longer calling the shot because he became weak, physically tired, need medical attention. And Dr. Benjamin Bolmel was very close, so he knows this. So he took an advantage of an elder and a veteran politician that needed the support. Okay, he took advantage of situation and he appointed himself as the first vice president. He appointed in the party, first deputy in the party. He became the vice president for economic cluster, removing General Wani. He appoints senior ministers, senior government officials, remove senior military officials. So what happened? Now you have seen how a lot of people were not happy with General Bolmel. There was attack left and right. What did they do? People went and came up with a strategy now to remove Bolmel. The same analogy of cash cow. This time, the mission was accomplished by the family. And in the family, first, they did appoint Honorable Adut Salva to become the presidential envoy, senior presidential envoy for a special program. That is a very senior position within J1. And then they went and brought former Ambassador Chol, became also close as a part of family. Now, Ambassador Chol, Honorable Adut, the immediate family members, their Akun extended family, some leaders from Warab, now manage now to grab the president from Dr. Benjamin Bolmel. And they use presidential power. Now, the same group, they remove Dr. Benjamin Bolmel from power, arrested, was demoted to a private, and is in house arrest now. They took over. And right from November, Ambassador Chol became the center of power in Juba. Everyone was looking for her. She became very powerful. She brought in senior members in the government, moved very powerful people in the government. Until recently, what happened, and this is where I will end, she herself was also removed. So now, and this is the last point I want to end with, to answer your question. Who is fully in charge? Who is in charge of the country? Dr. Quer and those who are listening, I want to tell you, unfortunately, in South Sudan, there is no one in charge of our country.
Can you explain that? When you say there's no one in charge of the country, can you explain what that means?
Let me give you another analogy. South Sudan is like an airplane that is full of people. And then the captain took it successfully up to 33 feet, 33,000 feet. And while it's up there, the plane start losing the direction, going left and right. While the captain is trying to manage the situation, heart attack came and hit the captain. The captain is dead. All the assistants are dead. And all the passengers are up there going west, east, north. That plane, Dr. Garang, is likely to crash. That's exactly what is happening in our country. No one in charge. There are 4 groups that have some sort of power, but they are not center of power. Number one, there are politicians within their party and in the government. Those of Secretary General of the SPLM, Dr. Akol Paul, those of General James Wani Iga, those of Kwal Manyang, those of Honorable Michael Makwei. They have some sort of power to keep themselves in position, but they are not fully in power, including those of General Lewayan. They have enough proximity to the power that they can be appointed, but they have no power to decide the future of the country. That's one group. And that's plus those of people who are with them in the government, like Honorable Martin Ilia Lomoro and Tut Kew and the rest, those from the National Congress Party. They have some sort of power, but they are not fully there. The second group are the security apparatus, the head of national security, the head of Tiger. Those people meet with the president. They have access to the president, but they are not fully in charge. The third group is the family, headed by Honorable Adut and the rest of the family member and the extended family within Akon and Gorial. They also have access to president. They manage some affairs, but they are not fully in charge. And the third group, strangely enough, these are aid of the president, like office manager, private secretary, harass, people who have access to president. Those also have some sort of power. They can remove people, they can appoint people, they have some sort of power. So in short, our country is in hand of 4 different groups who do not even like themselves. They don't agree in the direction of the country. They don't agree in anything. In fact, they are fighting themselves. There is serious power struggle among these groups, and all of them have access to president pursuing personal interests. None of these groups is going for South Sudan or for the SPLM. Unfortunately, our leader, President Kiir, is tired, is weak. He needs to be taken to hospitals. He needs to rest. And none of these people cares about him. All of these people only cares about their personal interests.
Okay. Before I go to the question of arrest, I want to ask something that we've seen over the years. It looks like J1 and South Sudan in terms of leadership is like an organic system. You know, if something happens in a human body, the body readjusts to its equilibrium, whatever that is. So we've seen over the years when what you call the center of power, if they are removed, somehow someone becomes the center of power. Now we've seen that now Ambassador Achol is gone and the center of power seems to have shifted. Can we say that that organic system we call J1 will somehow readjust and will find someone else who is going to be the center of power and things move on as business as usual? That this confusion will just readjust itself, because that's what happens in J1. They always find someone to be the center of power. Is that a possibility?
This time is not going to be a possibility, unfortunately, because of what we have seen in Addis Ababa. And I've seen you making a video. Dr. Garang, what happened in Addis Ababa was a very sad moment for the country. You agree or disagree with President Kiir, we will all agree in one thing. That is our elder. He fought for this country. He's a war hero. He delivered, him and his colleagues worked very hard and delivered South Sudan for us. We don't want to see what was happening. President Kiir is like our father, all of us. To see him taken by people, the four group that I mentioned, to allow him to travel to Addis, knowing that he's tired, he's sick, right? He's weak, and you allow him to travel. And strangely enough, his daughter also was part of that delegation. Knowing all this bothered me so much. There were 3 incidents in Addis that were very sad. One, when President was delivering the speech, from what I saw, clearly the President was reading and clearly he does not understand what he was reading. It is someone who's tired, he needs rest. And what was even more embarrassing, there was a lady next to our President, clearly disrespecting the President, and not only her, the whole room was making a lot of noise. That is not what I want to see President Kiir going through.
Why do you think this is the case? Why? Because we see the videos. They see these videos. They know the president is very frail. Some of them are people who are very close to the president, like Adud. That's her father. Yes, he's the president. If something happens to him, he's our president. We will get another president, and the president may become part of history. But the president she's not going to forget the president, because that's her father, regardless of what happens. She's going to be the daughter of that president. So why don't they see that? Or is power too seductive that they're willing to sacrifice the old man for the chance to be in charge? What is happening here? This was something I don't understand. Why do they see this and nothing happens?
Well, for Honorable Adud, she has altogether. From what I've seen, she cares about elders. She was visiting them privately when she was appointed. So she valued the role of elders. I'm sure she valued the role of her dad, President Kiir. That is no question. But I don't think Honorable Adud is fully in charge. She's not in position to say, hey, President Kiir cannot travel in Addis, and she will be allowed. At that particular time, there will be people who will tell President that, you know what, Adud became the obstacles. Adud now is telling people for you not to go to Addis and participate as a leader of South Sudan. By the way, they will tell President that Adud is working for something else to bring you down. At that particular time, you will not be surprised President Kiir can even dismiss Adud. This is exactly what I was telling you. There are 4 groups at that particular time that I mentioned. So if one group tells President, hey, look, you see what Adud is doing? She's working against you. Okay? She doesn't even want you to go to Addis. What will happen? Adud will be fired. And Adud knows this. So as much she knows that, she will not make a decision. She will reluctantly go along knowing that something completely is wrong here. And the picture of her covering her eyes tells us all. And you talked about it. Now there are other people who are doing it for their own benefits. You know, when President travels to Addis, it costs a lot of money. You know what these money are all about? Per diems, they are distributed by these cartels around the president. They all benefit from it. So for them, going to Addis is about making money and dollars. For you and me, we look at something different. We are embarrassing our elder, our leader who is tired. So no one is in charge to say, President cannot go to Addis. No one. And again, you have seen how President Kiir was walking on his knee, where that's tell you that an old man and an old veteran is tired because he has been walking since the Anyanya 1 to the days of the SPLA. He walked across South Sudan. He went left, east, north, everywhere, walking on foot. That also affects your knees. And I am not happy that some of our South Sudanese took it as an advantage to disrespect the president. Okay, this is not the right way to do it. It is not him. This is an elderly veteran politician that need our respect and help. By the way, my own mom has a similar situation. She's an elderly. Basically, when I took her to the doctor said that at certain age, in your knee, there is this, it wear off, okay? And when this look around that area wear off, right, the person become the bone touching themselves like this. And when the bone touches, you feel a lot of pain. So it's like there's oil in there that help with the knees. That one is gone for my mom. So normally what they do, they give her shots, pain medicine, and that keep her for 4 or 5 months, but it gets back.
Is something that...
So this president, in short, President Kiir, really, it's not about him. You have seen the president health. You have seen him calling people leaders with different names. These are clear signs that our elder is suffering. And President Kiir is a very intelligent man. If he meets you one time, he will remember your name. The fact that we could not recognize some of the leaders in the region and international community tells you that clearly our president is sick, is tired, need to go to hospital, need a rest. But none of the cartels cares about that.
Okay, there are
unfortunately.
2 things I want to raise. One is something that's traditional. And I think this is where sometimes we have to be realistic when we talk to Adut. I know most of us are very harsh on her because she's a very close person, a senior advisor. And as many of you know, advisors are mostly senior to ministers. So Adut, as many of us know, talking to our fathers and elders is not very easy. It is difficult. So for a young person to go to a father and tells them, okay, this is what you need to do, for us, and we know as South Sudanese, that is extremely difficult. It is seen as disrespect. Now, is there a process Adut and the family members, those of Thiek, the other Thiek, the cousin and the brother and the rest of the family, to sort of sit and say, can we talk to our relatives so that this becomes a concerted effort, so that he doesn't see it as one person who is after power, to say, we need an intervention. We care about this old man. And many of us know he has achieved a lot in the liberation struggle, going back to Anyanya 1. No one, with all the failures, with all the things that he has brought to South Sudan, no one can take away from what he has achieved as a liberation icon. So they can come to him as a family as an intervention. So that's one thing, because we cannot expect Adut to do it or Thiek to do it. Talking to our fathers and uncles is not very easy. That is one. The second thing is, when people say President Kiir is frail and is weak, people don't see it that way. They see it in the context of what people have been saying, Kiir must go. People have been saying Kiir must go. So anytime we say, it is not about that. It's about the old man. He's very weak. They don't see it that way. It's just about, oh, you just want him to go. And that scares people around. So the first thing is, the first question I asked, for us to be realistic, is there something the relatives can do as an intervention? Forget about the politics.
Well, here is what Honorable Adut and their family, first, and by the way, from what happened in Addis, I have stopped criticizing President Kiir in anything. In fact, I don't even praise him in anything, because I felt like a veteran who is old, is tired, he needs to be left alone. I am more targeting the people who are messing up our country. And I mentioned 4 groups. Now, what Honorable Adut could do is to initiate an honest conversation within the family. As you put it, they need to sit, talk, and be honest as a family. That is number 1. Second, she also needs to initiate an honest discussion within the party. Because what is happening in Juba, by the way, those people who are in party, those of Dr. James Wani Iga, Dr. Akol Polkot, Honorable Michael Mokwei-Lweth, General Lenayan, are very, very smart people. This is not people who don't know what they are. They are very smart. And many others, by the way, young and old, within the SPLM. But you know what did they do? They decided not to talk about the affair of the country and be honest with themselves. Because Dr. Odwang Nyaba told you that if you go to parliament, you pull out someone discussing the issue of politics, they will run away from you. You know why? Because nobody trusts anybody. If what I'm just saying here, you and I, what we are saying here, if we were in Juba, this whole message will be twisted, right? And say that Lual has an intention of disrespecting the president and all that mess. That will happen. So what they do, if someone try to be telling the truth, president will be told, X need to be removed because he's talking ill about you, he's disrespecting you. So what a dude could do as a daughter of president is to encourage these leaders, bring all these four groups together. Look, we are working with our president. This is our leader. This country is the only country we have. We don't have another. South Sudanese have paid so much for us to have this country. We are suffering. The country has collapsed economically. The country has collapsed in terms of security. There is a serious mess in the country. Let us sit down as a party. Let us have an honest discussions. Let us agree to work together, not against ourselves as a team. And let us have a very clear roadmap on how we need to take this country. And all of us should speak one voice to President Kiir so that we direct him to the right direction. If Adud initiate that, she will succeed because people at this stage, a lot of people trust her. She's the daughter of president. But if she doesn't do that and decided to work with some people, then Adud herself can be even removed. Don't be surprised to me. She can be removed. Because these cartels that are around president, they can tell president, you know what? Be careful. Your daughter is so much ambitious. She wants to take over. And all of a sudden, she will become a victim, just like many before her. She has to play safe. But let me call them out, all of them. Yeah, Jama, listen, we only have South Sudan. We don't have another country. Please, there's no time for playing around. Time has come to leave alone this playing game. Let us make sure, agree on the new direction of the country. Let us put South Sudan first, all our personal interests aside. Let us, for example, even if all of them agree and said, you know what, president now is sick or veteran. Let us go from now onward. Let us protect him to do two things. Number one, let us not allow him to travel overseas. Because when he travels, he becomes vulnerable with the international media. Let us say, if they agree and say he will be represented by Honorable James Wani or one of the vice president or Honorable Adud, as an agreement, they could do that. It's not hard to be done. They could agree, for example, to say, okay, going forward, we are not going to expose president for the media. They could do that. But this one need an agreement. And I know these people are very smart because I interact with many of them. But they refuse not to say the truth. And this is very dangerous. For how long will we continue to lie and destroy our country? For how long we will continue to see the right thing need to be said and we are not saying? For how long we will continue to destroy our country? Time has come for all these elites and cartels around the president to start speaking up, saying the truth. And by the way, my last message to you, if you don't do that, with the situation the country is heading, you are also vulnerable and you will lose. It's just a matter of time. Trust me.
Okay. So I want us to transition to the recent mass of arrests, and then we'll aim to the possible succession issues, whether that is something, and you touched on it, whether SPLM can sit and say, okay, we need to move forward. We need to talk about transition, because that is the natural progression. At the end of the day, President Kiir, one way or another, he's going to leave. And what does that leave the country? But I want to ask something that may sound controversial, but I don't mean anything that is disrespectful for the SPLM leaders. You said those of Waniga, those of Alewa Yang, and those of Michael McQuay, and those of Kwalmanyang. There's no doubt they're smart people. Otherwise, they would not, be good liberation leaders. So they're smart people. But what is someone's smartness and intelligence if the problems accumulate in the country, like what they see happening with the president, what they see happening in the country, but they don't do anything? How can someone with a straight face say, these are smart people, when all this mess happens at their watch? So where is their intelligence, where's their smartness when these things happen? Is it because they're afraid, as what Dr. Nyaba said, that people are just afraid? That's the issue. If that's the case, then these people were liberation icons. They were not afraid to die in the bush. They went to the bush. It wasn't a party. It was war. They were in the war. They were not afraid to die. But today they're afraid. Is it because they're old, or is it because there's something to be enjoyed now that they don't want to risk it? So what is happening here? I want you to answer that before we go to the question of arrest.
Well, Dr. Garang, there is something very interesting about power. Power is a very dangerous thing when you get into it. It comes with a lot of benefits. These seniors, as PLM leaders in the government, are enjoying. They have nice cars, they have a lot of money, they have so much thing they don't want to lose. And because of that, they are not talking. They know the consequence of people who try to talk. We know what happened to General Pagana Mo when he started talking. We know what happened to many leaders who decided to talk in the SPLM. We see this. This is not something we thought about. Now, I know them, they are very smart because I talked to some of them in private. When you talk to them, these are people who know how the countries run, brilliant, know how the country should be managed. But the problem is that, let's say, if they are talking to me, they are comfortable because they know that I am not going to report that to anybody against them. That's the reason they will talk to me like that. But they cannot even talk to themselves. You know why? Because they don't trust themselves. If someone say, let's sit down and discuss the future of the SPLM, and you come very honest about it, this whole message will be cut, recorded, twisted, and the next thing you know, you are out in power. The next thing you know, you are arrested. The next thing you know, humiliation follows. So this is the reason why these leaders are not talking. In short, and this will take us to your transition, Juba city became a big prison. Everyone in Juba is arrested except President Kiir, and the level of arrest is different. Some are arrested not to say anything while they are moving freely in Juba. Some are house arrest. Some are in blue house. But everyone, for politicians nowadays, Juba is a big prison in which no one is free to say anything, to move, or to do anything. That is the reason. And these people, all of them need a rescue from outside. And this is what I'm telling them. My brothers, my sisters, this country is gone. Stop your nonsense. Sit down as brothers and sisters. Talk honestly about the way forward. And you will do it because I have confidence in you. This is a call.
So yeah, we'll transition. I just wanted to say that makes a lot of sense. And I think I do believe they're intelligent people. And when you hear them speak about national issues, you see that they seem to know what they're doing and they don't do anything. What I would tell them is that they're failing the country and that they should remember that the more they keep quiet, the more they fail the country. There's something some philosophers call, action by omission. So if by not acting, you're actually acting. And there's this French philosopher, Jean-Paul Sartre, and he said that we are condemned to choose. Whatever you do, you choose. Whether you decide to do something or you don't, then you've chosen. So by keeping quiet, they've chosen to destroy the country by silence. They should remember that. So they cannot say the president is the failure. They fail by keeping quiet, and that's something they should remember. So now, what is...
And also, I may add to that also saying silent is no longer safe.
Yes.
Because there are people who decide to be silent, but yet some way, somehow they became victim of the same regime. So whether you are silent or not, you are no longer safe. The country is not safe. And the country is heading toward collapse and total disintegration. And we would need to do something about it now than when it is completely in chaos and abyss.
Okay.
And none of us will come out victorious on this. We will all be losers because we are losing our country. It's no longer about President Kiir. It's no longer about SPLM. It is about South Sudan now.
So I just wanted to say, for those of you watching, I want to apologize because there's something with the system, because usually the comments get shown to me here, and then I show them on the screen, but I cannot see them. I know people are commenting on Facebook, but I cannot see them. There's a glitch within the system, so I cannot see the comments here. I usually show them on the screen, but I cannot show them. I've tried, so my apologies for those of you. We're not ignoring you, for those of you who are commenting. Now, so let's go to what is happening with this arrest. Who is arresting people and why are these people being arrested? Because it seems very selective. So what is happening?
First of all, one thing that needs to be known to people of South Sudan is that all of us in the opposition have been talking about there's corruption. Now it's no longer the opposition that is talking. There is evidence that there is a serious corruption in our country. So it's no longer now a question of disputing it. Secondly, from what I'm hearing, this mass arrest, there is almost about 32 cargo went missing.
Cargo of what, oil?
Yes. Okay. You know how much one cargo roughly? It's roughly $60 million times 32 that are unaccounted for. This is what I'm hearing. So in principle, what the government is doing of arresting anybody who steals money is a good thing. As a Secretary General of the UPA, I will welcome that if it is the intention. But that's not the intention of the government. Let us be very honest here. What is happening in Juba is a part of power struggle. Basically, people are positioning themselves. So if one of these leaders is counted to a certain group and he wants to be taken advantage of, then he will be accused as the only corrupt person and arrested. Honestly speaking, if we are talking about corruption, why are they selective on it? Those who are watching, I ask you a simple question. List 10 people that you know are corrupt in South Sudan. If you are watching in Juba, you go query and read the comment letter, you will be surprised. If this government is serious about cracking down on corruption, I guarantee you, Blue House, Sijin Kobar, all the houses in Juba will be full and arrested with corrupt individuals. That's not what is happening. I don't want anybody to take it away that this government is cracking down on corrupt individuals. That's not the case. This is part of internal power struggle within SPLM IG alone. This is exactly what is happening. So basically, the economic situation is so bad. The country has collapsed. The cartels have now decided to take money from other cartels that they believe to have taken some money. Like, to put it simply, if you know, Queer, that Lual is a thief and have taken a lot of money, and you have proximity to the power of fourth group I mentioned, what I will do, you will go to president, you will say, Lual is corrupt, we need to arrest him. They come and arrest me. You, who are actually snitching on me, who is making a decision for me to be arrested, you are actually, at some point, you are even more corrupt than me. There are people who are signing the warrant of arrest and to arrest people who are more corrupt than people they are arresting. How logic is that? If I stole, for example, $20 million, you stole $100 million, you are signing my arrest so that I am arrested, who stole $20 million. And you, with $100 million, you are okay. This is not corruption. This is not fighting corruption. It is basically selective in its nature. I cannot hear you. I think you are muted.
Sorry. Can we say then that there's some truth to the arrest? It is just not enough, because this is not the first time oil cargo in South Sudan go missing. That's not the first time, and no one was arrested. So we can say there's some truth to what is happening, but it's just not enough, and also it is very selective. So the other thing is, who is arresting these people? We said that there's no center of power, so who is arresting people?
This is something we must agree. There is truth into it. And don't take me wrong. I'm not even supporting thieves. I want them all to be arrested. My problem it is, why is it selective? Why some of the thieves are still allowed to arrest people? Okay? My problem, it is the way it is done. Dr. Grant, we have a constitution. National security, it is the one arresting people. Someone was telling me the former Minister of Finance, Dongren, was arrested at 5 a.m. in Rumbek by the national security. This is not the job of national security, okay? Normally, in a country, what is actually the national security is using? They are using Article 54 and 55 to crack down on people and arrest people like that. This is not how it is done. By the way they are doing it, even if the UPA takes over and we are in charge, we are not going to do it like that.
So who's giving the orders? Who's giving the orders? That's a question I want to know. Now, who's giving the orders?
Now, the person that is giving the orders, the first person I'm taking out of this equation is that President Kiir must have signed into it, but it's not his idea. The people who are arresting people, they come from four groups. First, the security apparatus are telling President that you need to arrest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also, some senior political leaders within IG are doing this, who have access to President. Some aide of President that I mentioned earlier, who are close to President, are also doing this. And finally, some members within their family are also doing this. So basically, what they do, they will arrest you. And the way it is done is wrong. This is where I have problem. Because if it is about corruption, the way it is done, the Minister of Justice will investigate the crime. They will call the person. He or she will be told that you are accused of 100 million, 200 million. Explain this. If he could not explain it, the judge decides that this person needs to be arrested. The case is taken to the police. The police will come and inform you and you are arrested. Not only arrested, but within certain time you are taken to the court of law. This is how it is done. This is how it should be done if it is about corruption. But this is not about corruption. It's about you grabbing these people. You will even take them to jail, to the Blue House. You go and ask them, look, we know you have $1 billion. Now, give us $1 billion. Maybe we will forgive you. They are not going to be taken to the court. Who has the power to arrest a South Sudanese? You go and ask him to give you the money and you let him go. That's not how it is done. This is exactly what is happening. And by the way, government also need to stop arresting people and not take them to court. And I'm calling from here for either you release them or you take them to court. For example, we have these officers that were arrested way back. Okay, those of Christo Thon Makerdin. He has been left there to rot in prison for a very long time. He needs to see court of law and sentenced to something. What did he do? If he did something, you sentence him to God. If not, release him. Okay. Also, Dr. Benjamin Bolmel has been under house arrest. We have never seen him take him to the court. If he's accused of anything, take him to the court of law. Otherwise, release him. You cannot keep someone in his house arrest for almost 1 year now. What did he do? We need to know. We need to know the charges. Just the same way they are doing it to Riek Machar. Also, General Kolkor has been arrested now. We don't hear about it. Take him to the court of law and charge him. Just the same way Riek Machar is being treated. Now we have seen Riek going to the court for whatever number of time. Why there are different ways of treating the same South Sudanese. And now they have arrested a lot of people. And I challenge you, these people, they will not be taken to the court. Because if they are taken to the court, they will be talking. They will say, yes, you have arrested me. Yes, you have accused me for corruption. But X and Y, they are still there. And they are the one who stole this money. And they are even stole more than me. The government will not do it. I challenge you, if you will see these people in the court, they will not.
Because that's the thing with when we call them cartel, and you know you live in the US, one of the things cartels do, if you are together with them and you disagree, if you fall out and you leave, they don't allow you to speak, they kill you. They silence you.
Yes.
Because they know you will talk.
Yes.
So by arresting these people, this is not about justice. It's about silencing them. It's not about allowing them to speak, because if they go to court, they will have to build a case and people will speak. So it's not about justice. And this is where we can direct this to the Minister of Justice, Michael Makui, because Michael Makui speaks sometimes he's a lawyer by profession.
He is a very good lawyer.
So if he's a good lawyer, sometimes he say, I'm not a lawyer, but I know that some things he says that a lawyer should not say. Sometimes he concludes cases in the public where he gives verdict. What should be done to these people? He shouldn't do that. He is the Minister of Justice. Now we can direct this to him. What is happening to this? Because that is his purview. He's the Minister of Justice. If all these people are being arrested, he's very articulate. He's not shy to speak his mind. So he can come out and tell us all those you've mentioned who have been arrested. Why were they arrested? Will they be taken to court? He can explain to us and why they're not arrested. Those who have been arrested now, he should come out and say, this is why they arrested. Otherwise, it is not about justice. It's not about corruption. It's about power. It's about silencing people where maybe thieves, they took something and they disagree. What do? They start snitching on one another, or they start to say, okay, he's going to speak about what I've done. So it's not, I agree with you. It's not about corruption. It's not about justice. It's just about power, to silence other people.
Exactly. First of all, Honorable Mike Mulukwe will not do anything because he was not the one arresting them. They were arrested by the national security. And the problem now, and you said the cartels, you don't talk. That's the rule of cartel. It applies here also in South Sudan, so that they are silent. But then the problems comes in. What do you do with them? How long are you going to keep them in prison? How long are you going to keep all this in prison because you don't want them to talk? What do you do with them? If you release them, they will talk. If you release them and they ended up, for example, in exile, they may even join your position and they can bring down the government. But if you don't release them, how long are you going to keep them in prison?
I don't think they think about that.
That's another problem, because you have to think of it too. If I am going to arrest someone, I need to know what is the end game. Nobody will tell you in Juba what is the end game. They are stuck with these people. Also, they cannot kill them, because you will not kill a person that is known that it is in Blue House. By the way, we are communities. If I know my relative is killed by government, someone is going to pay for it. And they know it. So they're not going to kill them either. So this is a big mess that the government got itself into. Now, and this is very important, South Sudanese across walk of life, young and old, all of you, my people, I am talking to you directly. Time has come to forget about this tribalism, to forget about regionalism, to forget about dividing yourself. Unite as one people. Let us all come together. Remove this failed and corrupt regime. By the way, the regime is coming to an end. These are signs of a regime that is about to go. This regime is clearly is gone. And this is what happened always, all the revolution, all the regime that have lost power. It has always been about economy. And the economy in South Sudan is completely gone. We need to come together. We need to unite, whether you are in the national security officer, a police officer, soldier, a regular South Sudanese. Let us come together, unite, and find a way to remove this failed and corrupt regime. This is the only thing we can do together so that we have peace and tranquility and prosperity in our country.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And I think that is something all of us should stress, that this is not about any tribe. It's no longer about tribe. You've seen those who are being arrested. Where are they from? Some of them are actually from Warab. So it's not about tribe anymore. It's about the survival of the country and the few cartels who just want to milk the South Sudanese cow. Now, here's the challenge. There are some people who will...
And by the way, even to add to that, if you look to the list of people who are arrested, almost all of them are Denka. And strangely enough, and I've been in a position, I've seen when there is a promotion of officers, in which 90% of them are Dinka, everyone is talking about that the Dinka have been promoted, the Dinka have dominated the government. Now, there's a 100% list of people who are arrested are all of them Dinka. And almost 95% of these are from Bahr al-Ghazal, where President Kiir comes from, where I come from. And nobody's talking about why they are only arresting Dinka. Nobody's complaining. Nobody. This is another double standards that I always criticize. Why they are not calling for other South Sudanese to be in the list. And I know that there's a lot of other corrupt individuals from either Equatoria or from Upper Nile or from other region of South Sudan. They are not arrested. Why these opposition groups are not calling for their names to be included as well and arrested? This is double standards. But
maybe
this is for another time. Is it okay for me? And it's not a big deal.
So maybe I usually play the devil advocate. Maybe I don't know why, and I think opposition and people from other ethnic groups can answer your question, and some of you may answer that in the comment section. Why people are not complaining about this? It's 100% Jiang who are being arrested, mostly Jiang from Bahr Ghazal. So, and usually if we have a list of people who are appointed or arrested, then people complain. Maybe because, that's my opinion, maybe because what is being done, they see it as a good thing. And you cannot complain about a good thing. So if those who are arrested are seen as culprits, then there's no reason to complain. If they're all from one tribe and they are seen as people milking the South Sudanese cow by themselves, then people may not complain. That's my opinion. So people may not raise an objection because they see that as what should happen. That's my opinion.
Well, in principle, I am in favor of people to be arrested. I have no problem with that. In principle, I agree with arrests. This is not the issue. Anybody who is corrupt, whether it's a Dingo or Nuer or Tuka or my brother or anybody should be arrested, in principle. But if you are in opposition and you are fighting for reform, then your first question should be, how is it done? It is very selective in nature. It is scary. Imagine a former Minister of Finance, someone who is highly educated. Someone was telling me that his name was not even in the list, but somehow he decided to take a border, running into Uganda border, try to escape, was arrested. It was a very embarrassing moment for the country. I mean, what is this? Even if you stole money, you don't need to run. Be man enough to face your consequences. If you enjoy the millions of dollars, you need to sit and enjoy also the blue house or whatever consequence the consequence of your action. Very sad.
But here's something that many of our political leaders do not understand, or maybe they don't see a value in it. We tend to see, we have this hubris that if I'm a minister, I'm too big, I don't want to listen to other people. That's a problem, even with what I call our SPLA uncles. They are not humble. If we tell them something, they will say, okay, you guys think you are educated and all this. We liberated this country. They don't listen to advice. We're no longer kids. We are approaching 50. So we're not kids. We've learned something. We may not say we are more experienced than you, but it's always a good idea to surround yourself with people who can interrogate and critique what you say. For example, Lualda wants to go and speak about something, and he can pass it to other people and say, what do you think about what I want to decide, what I want to speak about? And then they will critique it to see, okay, don't say this, don't say that. We don't have it in South Sudan. So if there were people, if Dr. Bach, for example, had people around him and say, okay, this is what I want to do, and they would tell him, please don't do it. But sometimes we tend to do things on our own, and we think, oh, I'm educated, I'm a minister or this, and people don't listen to counsel. It's one of the problems with our leaders. They're not humble enough. But I'm urging you, whether you are a minister or you are in any capacity as a leader in South Sudan, surround yourself with people who will sometimes disagree with you. Don't surround yourself with people who will always say yes, 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 because they benefit from, I don't know, crumbs from your tables. So that they can tell you this is wrong, don't say it. And then you can interrogate and then tell them, why do you think that's not a good idea and why I shouldn't say it? That's a problem. Someone would have advised back, no, don't do it. Just like other people who surrendered themselves. Bach is known. No one is going to kill them. He's known. Yeah, they torture people. They humiliate people. And that's why people get scared about Bullhouse. Yeah. But I want to thank you. This is...
No, I agree with you. And by the way, this is where we are missing it. By the way, running a government and building a modern state is a science. It's not about how old are you or how you can kill the enemy. It is about science. And in that regard, there's a lot of young South Sudanese who are watching today, very intelligent. They need to be put together as a team and can give anybody advice to run the country. All you need is to identify them, listen to them, and they will do it for you. But also, I want to do it the other way. Now, the young people, I'm talking to you directly, the South Sudanese, the intelligence, the smart, the PhDs and all these groups. You know nobody will call you. You will always be called a boy. So now time has come to unite yourself, work together. If you don't like the UPA, for whatever reason, that's fine. But you come together, organize yourself as a group, organize yourself as a cells, and you can actually work to bring a change for your country. Nobody will invite us at any point that, hey, young people and educated class, come take over this country. They will not do it. They are going to leave it to their children. So if you are sitting somewhere under your tree in Juba or in Bor or in Awil or in Manakal, hoping that you will be invited to take over, you are dreaming, my brother. You are dreaming, my sister. Let us come together and take over this country and correct the country.
That is true. And I discussed that with Honorable Pagana Mom about that no one is going to call you. And there was a WhatsApp chat. I mean, I think another SPLM leader actually said the same thing. You're not going to be called. You have to actually fight for it. And that's something that we need to think about. There was a video I saw recently, and I've spoken about this video. It's Honorable Michael McQuay, and he was speaking about educated South Sudanese. And he said, look, you just don't come to us and come and dictate. With your education, we'll be here and you have to listen to what we're saying. If you don't come to us, you will not go anywhere, which on principle is okay. But the challenge, and I think one of the things he doesn't understand, because he's very influential, and people who are very, very influential should not just say things anyhow. And I told this to Honorable Pagan. And instead of seeing this as a generational divide to sort of create this divide, they can say, I've been in government for over 20 years. I've been in the liberation struggle for another 20 years. So I'm very experienced. So you come as an educated young person, yet with all your education, you don't have any experience. So listen to us. Let us work together. I'll show you what we do in government, but you will also show me what you've learned, because most of them don't read. Most of them are not updated with what is happening in the world. So they will say, okay, you are updated. I'll listen to you. I'm experienced. Listen to me. And then we work together. They don't do that. They, instead of creating that divide, instead of working together, they're creating that divide. And that is also a problem. But I understand that some young people are very hubristic. They think I have this degree from this university and people will go and listen to me when I go to South Sudan. That's fallacious. And if you go with that attitude, no one is going to listen to you. So I understand. Yes, I understand what they're saying. Sometimes I know some of my colleagues, they have that kind of attitude.
No, it is true. But also it tells even that person also need help. He's not educated. Yes. He doesn't have wisdom. Yes, he may have a PhD, but he doesn't have wisdom of how to run the country. By the way, I have interacted with elders who are highly intelligent.
The villages, and chiefs in the villages are more intelligent than some of us.
Even chiefs in the villages and also people who in the government. elder South Sudanese who are in government and former government officials and some who are in academia, they are very, very intelligent with their age. They can do something. There are young people who are also very intelligent. So it is no longer about generation. It is about how you put this team together, the best of the best, so that we move our country to the next level. And it is not a generational divide.
So thank you, Honorable Lual. This is very helpful. You've shared a lot of insight, and I want to apologize to those of you watching because we couldn't put the comments here, and some of them Honorable Lual would have answered some of them. But I want to thank you. We are always welcome here, and we'll always invite you to speak on issues. Also invite you to the panel, because it's always good to have other people see different perspectives. So you're always welcome. So everyone watching, we're going to sign off from the live show, and then Honorable Lual, I'll talk to you in the studio. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And thanks for your support. Share it and comment to support the show. And thank you.